another Plan With Me video. Before anything else, I would like to apologize for not uploading a March Plan With Me video. That is because there's so much going on after I resigned, and you know how sometimes you had everything planned out and life slaps you with problem after problem. Yes. So I was so out of focus, sad and anxious and apathetic. I do not care what will happen anymore, but now I'm better, thanks to the people in my life who always believe in me and help me through tough times, especially my boyfriend Gio. Speaking of which, this month's theme is something special to me as it is the month of our anniversary. My boyfriend and I have been together since college and we're now in our 7th year. For our anniversary, he gave me this item to commemorate our first kiss, which is very cute and thoughtful of him. So this is the constellation of the stars on that day and location. He gave me this since it was a very special day for both of us, and it brought back the butterflies I felt on that day. Inspired by his gift, I thought it would also be great to create one on the day I said yes to being his girlfriend. And I really love the color scheme of brown and black. So I searched for a generator online and made it my reference for this setup. To start, I traced a circle on black paper using a bowl I found in the kitchen. Then I slightly sketched the constellation on it. Please take note that I only took a portion, mostly the center, of the actual constellation on the circle, since I cannot possibly copy the whole thing. Now let's go back to our cover page. I decided to go again for a Dutch door theme for this month. And after cutting off the edge of the paper, I glued a craft brown paper on the whole spread, then placed the round black paper that I made earlier at the center of the page. After that, I used a shiny metallic bronze marker from Sharpie and outlined the stars I sketched earlier. Then I added some dots and sparkles to make it look more like a night sky, and after that I simply wrote April in a cursive font using a thicker gel pen, which I think has a 0.5 nib. Here on the other side of the spread, I decided to place a quote that says, "The darkest nights produce the brightest stars," which is related to stars and somewhat I could relate to as well. Then I drew random stars on the left side of the page using a black fine tip marker that I got from Miniso. If you're interested in the supplies I use on this setup, I will try and link all the materials in the description box below. Lastly, to finish the cover page, I wrote 04 on the right portion of the page below the Dutch door and started by outlining with a gel pen and then filled it with a black marker. Moving on to the calendar spread, so I started by cutting out a piece of black paper and then glued it on the left portion where you can see the part of the black paper sticking out from the Dutch door. This made a continuing look at the two spreads and connected the two. This portion will also be dedicated to my monthly goals. Here I traced and cut out a coin on the brown paper, then glued it on the page. And below that, I wrote goals using the metallic bronze marker. And after that, I also drew lines, but this time I used a gel pen instead. Inside the circle, I sketched a small constellation similar to the cover page. Then after that, I outlined it with a black gel. Next up above the calendar, I wrote the month April. So I started with outlining with a black gel pen and then fill it in with a black marker. I chose this thick, slightly curvy font which I thought will be perfect with a star or constellation theme since it resembles the ones which are used for old vintage constellation posters or astrology, if you know what I mean. Anyway, after filling in each letter, I loosely outlined the calendar starting with the portion of the days of the week. So as you can see here, I did not use a ruler to create my lines. What I did was I slightly rotated the notebook and dragged my pen towards me. I think the imperfections of it made it look authentic. As you can see here, I only did the horizontal lines of the calendar since this looks neater and clean. After that, I thought it was lacking some bronze or brown elements on this. That's why I decided to fill in the boxes for the days of the week with the metallic bronze marker. Then wrote the days in a metallic bronze gel pen, which looks good in person but it's not that visible on camera. Moving on to the next, by the way, if you have noticed with my previous setups, I have these leafy shadows. That is because I'm currently filming outside. The reason is I needed as much natural light as I could get from the sun, and the only optimal place to have that was in the garden. And this might go on until I found a better place to film. Anyway, going back, as I previously mentioned, I won't be including my gratitude and reflections page in my setups anymore since I transferred them to my Monsta X 2023 season greeting planner that I got as a gift. Here, using the same blocky font, I write the title and then outline it with a black gel pen and fill it in with a black marker. For this month, I decided to use a different layout for trackers. Instead of dividing them into two, I combined everything in a single tracker spread. I started by writing the days of the month horizontally across the pages. Below that will be my habits, and then followed by sleep and mood in a graph form, then my intermittent fasting, which is also in a graph form. For outlining, I also did not use any rulers and slowly dragged my pen towards me to create almost straight lines. After that, I cut out a piece of brown paper and glued it to the right end of the page. Next, I sketched constellations on it. At this point, I might have drawn inaccurate positioning of the stars, but yeah, I simply doodled the visible stars I could find on my reference and scattered them on the paper. After that, I outlined it with a black gel pen, which I eventually went over again with a marker to thicken the lines. Here, I doodle some stars inside the circle, just like what I did in the gold spread, but this time it is a black paper, and I also use a metallic bronze gel pen, which gave the shining effect, which is not very visible on camera.
Sinasama mo ko?
Okay, down to the last spread for this setup. For this weekly setup, I wanted to fill the whole page with brown craft paper, but keeping the insides of each day or the writing space in white. So instead of layering the papers, I decided to trace my layout for this week and cut out the portion which I wanted to remain white. Kinda time consuming rather than layering them, but anyway, after cutting everything out, I carefully glued the whole page on the paper. And I'm glad it fits. A little shorter in the end, but it's not that noticeable, and I think it turned out okay. Then, to keep up with the black and brown motif of this setup, I cut out these circles from the black paper, which I place at the top of each box, and this will represent the days of the week and one for next week's event. After that, I drew random constellations inside each circle and outlined them with a metallic bronze gel pen. Then below each circle, I wrote the days of the week, and here I decided to doodle some random stars on the center of the page to kind of keep up with the rest of the spreads for this setup. Before we reach the end of the video, first of all, thank you very much for your continued support as the channel is consistently growing in the past weeks. In no time, we will be able to reach 1,000 subscribers, and when that happens, we will be having a giveaway in celebration. Without further ado, here's the final flip through of my April 2023 bullet journal setup. Thank you for sticking out until the end of the video, and as simple as you being here, sharing or liking my post is such a great help. Anyway, I hope you had fun as well, and I'm excited to unveil more contents for you, and with that, I'll see you on my next one. Bye!